Hey guys, what's up? Yeah, I got about 49 minutes to go, 48 minutes to go before I clock in. Basically, long story short, I could have called up this morning and tried to get a start dial a ride, if you will, that would have picked me up from home and dropped me off here, possibly between 10:30 and 11. Unfortunately, that didn't happen because lately my luck with dollar rides has not been good. So I just decided to opt and go with the usual 9:15 a.m. Schedule. Now, the reason I'm doing this vlog, though, and I think the video pretty much says it, or the title of the video pretty much says it best, and yes, I am doing this unscripted and on the fly. Basically, today is my 6-year anniversary at my job here, Walmart. Yeah, 6 years. I was hired, I started on the 18th, and now it's been 6 years since that day. And I have seen a lot of people come and go, fellow associates. I've seen a lot of managers, interchange, come and go, go to other stores, start their own businesses, or at least attempt to. I've seen a lot of things happen. And I've seen this because before the end of 2016 into 2017, my schedule was open. And the big difference between an open and a closed schedule is an open schedule is you can work at any time they need you. A closed schedule is you can only work at certain times. So, yeah, it's one of those scenarios to where basically, you go from working unusual hours to certain hours, but then those certain hours become a little unusual themselves. I mean, I'll give you a good example about unusual hours when it was all open, that being my schedule. I would go in sometimes and work 2 to 11 or 1 to 10 or even 3:30 to closing, which is 12:30 a.m. And I'd have to be back at work at 5:30 or 7:30. That's crazy, right? It's like, I kept joking, and I still kind of think about, this is something they should do. That what they should at least do is add in an extra area where people that have that kind of a schedule, at least for a day or a week, to where they close, but then they got to be back up early, about 4 hours later, 6 hours later, whatever. They should just add on an extra space in the store where people can sleep there for that night, and then go and shower. Like they should just install a whole, shower area for the employees only, bathroom shower area for the employees only, because that way if they have to stay the night, which an extra room, an extra area for them to sleep in would be good, they can go and shower and then proceed to go to work. Get something to eat first and then proceed to work. They won't have to worry about dragging their feet out of bed at home, even though that's the most logical thing to do, and probably risking being late getting to work. So the thing is, in the 6 years, like I said, I've been working here during my open schedule, I always joked about that. And I even still stick to that, thought process today that they should do that. But yeah, it wasn't until about 2016, 17 that I closed my schedule because, me and my mom moving from here in Patterson to Newman, California. And I had to do that because the bus schedule was very unusual. It's like it did not work within the confines of what me and my mom needed. So I had to basically, go from an open schedule to a closed schedule. And during all this time, though, I've seen a lot go on at this store. I've seen a lot of people, like I said, come and go, associate and manager-wise. I've seen a lot of things happen. In fact, there are several times I've seen people sneak out with stuff and find clever ways to do it. One good example was when I had an open schedule and I was closing. I think it was the night I was hoping to close. A customer, or a supposed customer, a thief, if you will, someone that, basically steals, came in, decided to steal some very expensive shoes or boots. And how did he do this? He did this by basically going to the shoe area where the clothing area is for the men's, or for men I should say, putting on some boots and then taking his old boots and putting them in the shoe box and basically acting like, okay, I don't want it or anything, I've changed my mind. So that when he walked out, he was walking out with a new pair of shoes he did not buy. And one manager said, do you realize what just happened? And so I had to look, and I think maybe I was one of them that kind of saw this first, like, wait a minute, this doesn't look new. And I think I pointed it out to a manager, and they're like, oh, crap. You know, the guy basically walked out with $22 or $25 pair of boots he didn't pay for, and all he did was take off his regular shoes, put them in the box because they fit, and walked out with those. I've seen that kind of stuff. I've seen a lot of stuff happen. Heck, I've heard of stuff happening. I've heard people have actually walked by, just like literally get carts load of stuff and literally walk or run out of the store straight through the pharmacy or grocery side entrance before anybody could stop them. You know, there are several times I've seen somebody do that. There was one guy I think I saw go out the grocery side with a case of beer. It's like he came in, went out, people tried to stop him, he would not listen. You know, there was one time last year actually, I think it was around the summer or something like that. I was doing one of our busy times, or busy days. I think it might have been the 4th, I don't know. Yeah, it might have been on the 4th of Memorial. I think it was on either Memorial Day or the 4th of July weekend. I was outside, like I am now, on this side, near the garden area, and I saw this car literally like parked, and then it pulled up. Now I'm thinking, oh, maybe they need help. I asked him, and he said, no, don't need anything. And I'm thinking, okay, whatever. Next thing I know, I turn around, and I see this other guy burst through the exit, the emergency exit of garden, in with a bunch of stuff in his hand, and get into the car with the guy that I just talked to. And I had to go report it. And I told him exactly what I saw. Told him, you know, that I talked to the guy thinking, you know, maybe he needed help. But yeah, the guy literally bust out the door. This other guy bust out the door, the garden emergency exit, with a bunch of stuff, and they drove off. So yeah, it's been in the 6 years, I've seen stuff like that happen. I've seen our AP security take a guy down and everything, or several people down because they tried to steal or they were causing trouble. I've seen kids, even my own nephew, along with his friends, get kicked out of the store for the time being because they weren't respecting the store. Heck, just last week, when I was helping to do carts for a bit, 2 of the managers were standing outside, at least one of them, because some kids had caused some ruckus in the store, throwing stuff around, throwing balls or whatever around. And basically, the store was, you know, sealed off to a bunch of kids without their families or without supervision until about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And this is what happens when school districts decide, hey, every other Wednesday, we're going to let the kids out early. It's like, do you have any idea what's going to happen if you do? So, yeah, I've seen a lot going on in the 6 years I've been here. Just so much. But what really gets me is 1 year prior, I was one of the first people to walk in the doors on opening day, the opening ceremony and everything. I was one of the first people to walk into the doors of this Walmart. And I knew, obviously, that day I was going to probably end up working for them. I was going to try to work for them. And wouldn't you know, 1 year later, that's what's happened. Or that's what happened. I applied online, just like I did at the Walmart in Lawrence, Kansas. And even though it took a little bit longer, I ended up getting a phone call from the assistant manager at the time named Tony saying, come in for an interview. I did. And next thing I know, That's the day I get hired. And what's funny is my mom says the moment I went in, and the moment I think my interview happened, is when it started to rain. And that's my mom, being a prayer warrior and a very religious individual, basically said that the moment it started raining, that's when she got the message from God. That's when God gave her the message, your son got it. Your son got the job. He's in. And ever since then, and I thanked him that night too, ever since then, I've been employed here. Now, what's funny is in the 6 years I've been here, I've also had some personal tragedies occur. Not even a few months in, I get the call from my dad that my grandma had fallen. Had fallen. She had hurt us. She had basically fallen in the house, and it was just it was basically like she had fallen before, but this was like the one fall that pretty much, sealed the deal, if you will, unfortunately, for my grandma in Kansas, and she ended up passing away. And he gave me the call the moment I was walking home. He gave me the call, and yeah, it's just, I had to go on bereavement for that time. I had to go on a bereavement period for at least a week. And then, last year, I lost my grandma here in California, my mom's mom. And yeah, it's been one of those situations where, even though I've been with this job for over a decade, not over a decade, but for 6 years, for over half a decade, in that time I've seen a lot happen at the store, and I've experienced a lot personally. So yeah, it's been one of those kind of experiences, in the over half a decade that I've been with this job. But even after that, though, looking at the positives, one of the things I've noticed is I've been given a lot more opportunities to do things. I've basically become what's known as like a utility person. And what that is, a utility person or a utility player from a sports term, is someone that could do a lot of things, can work in many different areas or many different, or play in different positions when needed. And that's kind of what I'm doing a lot. I've been doing that a lot lately too. Like, primarily I'm cashiering and also self-checkout, but I can also do customer service, with the exception of doing what's known as money orders. Well, actually money orders I can do. And I think cashing checks is another. But the stuff I can't do is the receive and send money deal, through, Walmart to Walmart, if you will. I can't do that. I have to take what's known as an AML to accomplish that. Even though I think I've already taken it and I should be able to do it anyway. But anyway, I'm able to do that. I'm able to work in electronics, kind of help out there a bit when they need me to. I'm able to, again, go back and do carts. And heck, I'm even able now to do what's known as the checkout with me deal. Hold on for a sec. Sorry about that. Like I said, now I'm able to do the checkout with me deal too, which is basically where we have a cart and we're walking around the front area of the store and we're asking people if they're ready to check out, as long as it's, with the exception of if it's a certain way. See, the catch with the checkout with me is it's got to be card, and you can't have any vegetables or anything that has to be weighed. So if you have vegetables that have to be weighed, then you got to go to a regular cashier or self-checkout. If you don't, that's fine. And we can check you out there, but you also have to have your debit or your credit card or whatever. So that's basically what it is. It's basically a mobile-like kind of thing. Like, I could be walking like I'm doing now. I could see a customer and I could be like, oh, you ready to check out? See what they have, notice, okay, no problem, I can do that. ask them if they have debit or credit, if they're going to be paying that way, and if they say yes, all I do is take my device, which is like a palm, as we call it, or just like the phone here, and just go click, 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 click. Just, click a lot of the items they have, hit the total on the thing, and next thing I know, and then have them put the card into the device that's on the other side, or that I'm holding in my other hand. And then after that's done, finalize it, and then have them basically have them, like I said, put in the PIN number and everything, finalize it, and then print out the receipt from the little printer we have on hand, and there you go. The checkout with me deal works. And a lot of people there are customers, believe it or not, that are very impressed by that. They're like, wow, this is pretty cool. I can get out and go. I can get out and go. I could check out and go kind of deal without standing in a massive line. And that's another thing I've learned in the 6 years I've been with this store, that a lot of customers are used to doing things a certain way. You see, there's a lot of customers that, even though you could probably suggest to them, and this is mostly, and I say this with all due respect, this is mostly the older people. So we could go up and we could say, oh, we'll help you out at self-checkout. And they say, oh, no, we'll do register because we're more safer with that. Or we tell them, oh, we can help you with the checkout with me deal. And they can say, oh, no, we'd rather do this. And all we're trying to do is make it safer and more convenient for the individual, because of the fact that we know that there are certain customers, like what we had yesterday, that are not patient, that are used to things being done a certain way. Like we had this older lady that I checked out, and she's obviously been in the store before, and she's obviously complained before. But she basically said, look, I'm sick and tired of this. Basically, long story short, she just came out and said, look, I'm sick and tired of this crap. You guys should have these registers open. You should have people up here working, And basically one of the CSM said, basically explained to the assistant manager that came up, that's the same lady that's been there before, that's complained before. And even though she seemed nice a little bit afterwards, and I apologized for the wait and everything, it basically seems to me, like I said, that she's one of those individuals that she's used to things being done the way she's known them to be done for years, if not decades. And that's basically, you have registers, you keep the registers open no matter what. You have people on those registers, you keep them open no matter what. So it's kind of those situations, even though we're trying to explain, or at least our managers at times are trying to explain, hey, we're trying to get people up here. We're not only trying to get help up here, but we're also trying to help make it easier for you by showing you what other ways you could, check out and everything. I mean, heck, we even suggested them going online and doing it, because that way all they have to do is come and pick up their items, and go from there. And she's not the only one. There was a lady like a day or two before, as I was checking out, or not checking out, but clocking out, or getting ready to clock out. I was going to head to the back, and she saw two managers, a support manager and a CSM, at the register, in between, I think, register 2 and 3. And she was like, is those registers open? And I said, no, they're closed. And she thought, oh, well, they're standing around doing nothing. I thought they would at least be open. They should be doing something kind of deal. It's basically one of the things I've learned in the 6 years I've been there. Like I said, it's just that there are certain customers that are used to doing things a certain way, or having things done a certain way. Kind of old school, if you will. And nothing wrong with that. Let me rephrase that. Nothing wrong with it. But it's the fact that they're so used to it, not just with our store, but with other stores, that they expect that to happen everywhere they go. I mean, one lady that I checked out, tried to say I was rude to her, and I wasn't. And thankfully, there was a lady, that came after her that I checked out that stood up for me, went to my managers and said, no, whatever she told you is not true. He was not rude. And basically, she stood up for me because she works at a retailer. She works, I think, at Winco. She works at Winco. And she basically said, look, I know how you guys feel. I've had to deal with these kind of people before. She even gave an example of a customer that basically will not let her or anybody else start checking things off until they're right in front of them so they could see what's being scanned. So it's one of those kind of situations. But anyway, though, 6 years, that's hard to believe. 6 years with this company, with this store. Hard to believe. And I'm just thankful to God that I've been able to last this long, and I'm going to last a lot longer. And I have a feeling this year is going to be the year that I get a chance to at least do what I've been wanting to try to do. And that's be a CSM in some capacity. So yeah, that's all I'm going to say, guys, though. But 6 years, I'm happy. I thank the Lord for it. And here's to 6 more afterwards.